I'm going to cook an old school pudding. It's all about the apples. It's Eve's pudding. It's so simple, so delicious, and so affordable actually. And I've got a selection because obviously Granny Smiths, everybody knows a Granny Smith apple. You know, they're tart and they cook well. This beautiful looking apple here. These are a Pacific Rose. I know the grower, everything about them. They're grown in Roxburgh, and you know, since I've joined the sort of market team, my appreciation and everything about locally grown produce is growing. You know, I talk to the growers on a daily basis just about. I just have so much respect for them actually, you know, and if it wasn't for those growers, we wouldn't have such fantastic produce week after week. The mobile kitchen for me is the whole unpredictable side of it and the quirkiness of it. I like it. I like the surprise factor because there is a lot of surprises. Some days they have gas, sometimes they don't. And also, I think the biggest thing is the enthusiasm I'm creating. People are wanting to cook, you know, and that for me is what I'm about. Ever since I could walk and talk, I've just never wanted to do anything else. I've cooked. I'm from a big family. I love the fact that we can all bring a plate and we put it down on the table and we stand around and talk. I just love it. I love everything to do with it, and I want to get everyday people wanting to cook, and I want them to realise they can cook all this fantastic food without it costing them a lot of money, and it's not complicated and it's not difficult.
I must say, to be honest, when the rain was, I opened the curtains so I could hear the rain, and I thought, oh no, not the rain, and it was heavy, but it's subsiding, and I think it's going to be another great day. I've got my wellies on today though, and I've got 2 jackets on, just in case. But no, all good. And I mean, the thing is, I'm going to make the food just tick over all day, fast, so people don't have to stand in this rain for too long. Because you get the die-hard people that just come and hang out with their jackets like that. And I thought, so I'll keep the food ticking over really fast. And I mean, I've got, as usual, such a great selection of vegetables and fruits, and I've got some African sausages from Leki, so yeah, a lot to play around with today. So as long as I keep on track, don't get too sort of sidetracked like I'm quite good at, I'll be fine. Onwards and upwards. Hi Simon.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I've got you down for apples, is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I might get a couple of Pacific Beauties. I think a couple of Granny Smiths. Sneak in there. I like the tartness with the Granny Smiths, actually, and you mix it up with something like these beautiful ones here. Look at these, aren't they gorgeous? Or you've got Royal Gala. It's great, eh? Look at all the variety, and look at these. You don't even see these anymore. Golden Delicious. Magic, eh? Golden Delicious, Red Delicious, Fuji, Pacific Beauty, Royal Gala. That's just to name a few. Amazing, isn't it? Right. I reckon we've got a cool wee selection. I'll take that big crazy one. That'd be good for cooking. What are those ones? Are they Pacific Rose? Pacific Queen. Didn't even know they existed. Right, I reckon we've got a beautiful little bag. It's going to be a great little pudding actually. Thanks Simon. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Stay dry. Look at the variety you can get. It just blows me away, and that's just one stall, you know. And I only got a selection of his stuff, and gosh, they look beautiful. Stack them up until someone tries to eat one. Oh, look at them, they're so magnificent. So that grower's where I got the apples from. He's based in Roxburgh, and he makes a fresh apple juice as well, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if he does cider. That could be a thing he could get into. But yeah, they're so lovely. They're all such nice people, aren't they? So I'm using a selection of apples, like I said, and I like using a variety because it adds, you know, every apple, like this one's sweet and crisp, but this one here is sharp. So the combination of the sweet and the sour sort of thing is a little surprise when you dip inside. We're going to peel the apples, and I use a knife. My mother will be freaking out when she sees this. Alison, you're wasting so much apple, she'll be saying. But I'm just, it's all about
being fast really. I'm a mum as well, so I'm constantly having to watch my shopping bills, you know, and with the market I can go to the market and I have my little budget and I can shop this and that, and I've got a whole mountain of produce, and I've thought, hey, hang on a minute, I've got this on my doorstep, why can't I create these lovely meals but with just local produce? And I think that's what's shining through now, is that people obviously have watched me and they realise that they can cook meal after meal with purely market produce. I'm not going to, you know, go and buy a bag of this or that from the supermarket, which costs more money and it doesn't have the same locally grown flavour, you know, and it's shining through now that I can confidently, week after week, in my crazy little mobile kitchen, cook food on the spot with just a handful of ingredients, because I know that the ingredients are as good as I say. And I love it when I turn up and everyone goes, hey, morning Al, and I'm like, morning, what do you got? You know, and they come up to me and say, look, I've got this has just come up. Or gosh, you know, I've planted some whatever for a few months down the line, you know, when the spring comes and we start getting all the new produce in. I love it. I love the constant change of our seasons, and I love the challenges that the seasons bring. So I love it, yeah. And if I can get people to go home and want to cook with stuff, you know, like a bag of carrots or anything, and want to go home and cook and have a lovely meal with their friends and family, that's what it's about.
I don't know how many times we had the fennel recipe.
Oh my gosh, that fennel. I mean, every week we have to buy it now. We've never had it in our lives before that.
I see, that's so, see, when I hear stories like that, this is what it's all about. So with the apples, I'm just going to, I don't have gadgets, I'm not a gadget sort of person. Cut it into quarters, just like that, and then just remove that, and then just slice them straight into your pie dish. And it is this simple. My mother always made puddings, so I'm quite partial to a pudding. I don't make them that often, just because I am quite partial to them. But yeah, we had a pudding every night when we were growing up. I don't know how my mother managed to think of all the ideas, you know. But apples played a big part in our everyday life growing up down here in the south, and I think that's why apple puddings are probably up there with my favourite, really. So these sort of puddings are really good too, because sometimes you go through your fruit bowl and you find those apples that have been bruised a bit, and this is a perfect sort of thing to use them up in. I'm going to add a little bit of lemon. I like apple and lemon, it's my little sort of partnership, which I just think is perfect. I'm just going to zest a little bit of lemon over those apples, like that. A little sprinkling of raisins. And as I said, these are optional, but I think they just add that little twist to it, a little scatter. And then I'm going to make the topping. So that's the base of my pudding. You just need to get some softened butter. I'm using 200 grams here of softened butter, and when I say, oops, softened, I will go not melted. There's a big difference. This is softened butter here. As you can see, it's spreadable. You know, it's a type of butter. It's at that consistency where you could put it on, spread it over fresh bread. So that's what you're looking for. And I'm using brown sugar in this. This is just a regular soft brown sugar, but again, if you haven't got brown sugar, just use white sugar. Or if you've got muscadova sugar, you know, you can play around with different types of sugars, probably about 100 grams of sugar in there. And again, I'm just going to cream that, which is just getting those two together. So that, like that, yum. So it's nice and smooth and there's no lumps. And then you just want to break in eggs. I've got 4 eggs here. And of course you're going to start looking at it and thinking, oh, what's happened to it? This is not looking right. And it's just separating a little bit, which looks like that. You think, what's happened to my pudding? Trust me, have faith, keep it going. If I add a little bit of my flour, now I've got self-raising flour, which I pre-weighed. It's 200 grams of self-raising flour, which I have sifted, and I'm going to add some cinnamon actually. I like cinnamon, but I don't want it to be a cinnamon pudding. I'm going to add probably half teaspoon. Again, you can sieve it back into your pudding. I'm just a bit rough and ready. Okay. So this is the stage now. This is the final stage. I'm folding, you know, and the reason I'm folding is I've done my mixing. I've incorporated the butter and the sugar and the eggs, and now I'm adding the flour. If I keep beating that really hard like I was before, the flour starts working. It sounds all complex in that, but the flour just starts doing what it should do, and it's like the gluten in it starts wanting to work. We don't want it to work, so this is why we fold. So we just want to incorporate that flour through and get it mixed in. And I'm just going to get a scraper because it's all getting a bit crazy in my bowl. Scrape all that off. Get all the stuff from the sides and just make sure you get it from the underneath as well. Cut through. And that's really all we need to do, is just make sure it's mixed. And then it's simply put this on top. Yum. I could eat it raw. I could eat it like this. And then just spread that over. Whoa. And you know, go out to the sides, but don't be too pedantic about it. It's meant to be an old-fashioned pudding. And I like the fact that bits of apple are going to stick through it and raisins are popping around, and it's what it's all about. And now I'm going to stick that into my preheated oven and bake that for 30 minutes. 30 minutes and we'll have the best pudding you've had for a long time. My mum was here today. It was wicked actually, because it's really lovely, because my mother, ever since I can remember, I used to stand on the chair at the kitchen bench. My mother's so patient, taught me how to bake, how to cut, how to cook, how to do the roast dinners. And I'm hopefully going to pass it on to my children and hopefully pass it on to our farmers market. You know, I would rave about the markets in Italy, and I'd rave about the markets elsewhere in New Zealand and forget about what I've got on my doorstep. And now I'm really, really proud, and I'm actually proud to be called the market chef. Let's have a wee look. Life is pretty good. Eve's pudding. Just magic, eh? You just touch it lightly with your finger and it'll be kind of crusty but spongy, and all the little apples underneath will be just cooking away and mixed with the lemon and the raisins. It's just beautiful. Dust it with a little bit of icing sugar if you want. Yum. And see, I would serve that straight on the table like that. Oh, to me, I'm in heaven. Me and puddings go together really well. As you can see, the apples and the lovely sponge, and this is what I would do because I love cream. And that's me, job done. Eve's pudding. Heaven in a plate, really. Yeah, I made Eve's pudding today and it was wicked, and I love it so much. I had a selection of apples. I had about 6 varieties of apples today from one orchard, and just one of those lovely puddings that I like to make, old school apples and a nice sort of spongy topping. It was a winner.
Thank you.
If I can make it here with all the elements against me and under my circumstances, you know, and the pudding's beautiful and it's so easy and it really won't fail. So yeah, it's always a challenge here, but I like the challenge. Right. I'm going to take a few things home today. Turn that off so I don't have a gas leak. See my wellies? Actually, I quite like it actually. Keep my feet quite warm. Good socks, good gloves, good thermals really, all year round in Dunedin. Well, do you know what's on today? The last day of Carisbrook. And my two little boys, especially my eldest little boy, he's rugby mad. He's only 4 and he said, Mum, we're going to Carisbrook and we're going to have chips at half time. So that is my plan for the weekend. And who knows what I'm going to create really. So it's a good chance for me to play around for some recipes for the following week. And that is about it.